morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Boutique BC2 show. I'm your host, Bill Cancel. I hope everybody's enjoying their start of their day, start of their week. They got their coffee, they got their tea ready to go. Things are finally winding down here in Long Island, New York. We just have wind, but it's not consistent. It just kind of comes and goes, but there's no rain to really speak of. So I'm not quite sure where this all ends. Hopefully, it ends in the next couple of days or something like that. I think by tonight or tomorrow it should be all over. So. As you know, it is Monday, which means it's time for Momentum Monday, where we tell you what's going to happen for the week regarding news stories so that you are aware of what's up and coming. Some of these things you probably are already aware of, some of them you may not be, but let's get started because there's lots to cover this morning. Top Trump related stories this week are as follows. Trump and Israel pushing ceasefire hostage deal. This is by AP News. Trump has traveled to Israel to promote the U.S. brokered ceasefire and hostage agreement between Israel and Hamas. We'll talk more about that later. He's expected to speak before Israel's Knesset and emphasize the peace plan as a signal of foreign policy success. This gives him an opportunity to recast himself as a deal maker and peacemaker. We're definitely going to talk about that. Actually, you know what? Let's just talk about it now. Yeah, I am very happy to see that there could be a peace deal finally. Um, but I'm a person of past behavior, right? So what does that mean? I've lost count how many ceasefires we've had with Gaza, with the Palestinians and the Israelis over the years, especially over the last 2 years. Um, Something always slips. Uh, so even on Air Force One, when he was going down here, he was asked, is this going to last? Similarly saying what I'm saying, since they've had a repeat of failed ceasefires. And he actually said, this one's going to last, this one's going to work. I've never seen a man who likes to shoot himself in the foot so many times. I've never experienced that in my life. I mean, you're just days into the ceasefire. You know how tenuous it is, and so on and so forth. And immediately you just say it's over, it's done, I fixed it all, so on and so forth. And you just look worse if it falls apart. It's just I can't get it. Sharm el Sheikh Gaza peace summit next phase negotiations. This is by Wikipedia. Trump will co-chair the Gaza Peace Summit in Egypt with more than 20 leaders in attendance. The summit is intended to map out the next steps for Gaza's reconstruction, governance, and implementation of the peace plan. This is very interesting to see because I really want to see what these other 20 leaders are going to have to say about that. Because considering Trump wants Gaza for real estate value, I really am very intrigued to see what these other states, these other countries' leaders are going to say about what they want. So it should be interesting. By the New York Post also this morning, hostage release and prisoner swaps under the first phase of the deal. Hostages are expected to be released imminently with Israeli and Palestinian power exchanges underway. Um, Trump has been projecting that all hostages must be released by Monday or Tuesday. That's by the Times of India. Again, projecting without stuff actually happening. You should project after the stuff has actually happened. Um, Tensions over moving on to Russia and Ukraine. Tensions over Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine. Russia reaction. Trump has floated supplying Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine, a move that drew sharp warnings from Russia. That's by the Washington Post. Ukrainian President Zelensky has urged Trump to use the Gaza ceasefire momentum to help broker peace in Ukraine. That's by the Guardian. The Tomahawk missile thing, to me, really shows the sign of weakness that Trump has with Putin. Um, you don't float ideas, right? You don't float ideas because if you float ideas, you are asking the other side, asking the enemy to let you know if you think the idea is good or bad or not. That's just fucked up. I'm thinking of robbing a bank. Let me go tell this police officer who guards the bank that I'm thinking of robbing the bank and see what they tell me. That's the logic. If you were so concerned, just send the tomahawks. Be done with it. But because he can't make a simple decision, especially a strong decision, it really shows his weakness. How Trump handles his balance between helping Ukraine and avoiding escalation with Russia will be closely watched. Yeah, no kidding. Uh, Here's another one, shot in the foot again. Trade tensions with China and market reaction. Trump brushed off renewed tariff threats on China, telling markets it will all be fine. Yeah, he's been saying that since he implemented the first tariff. They've all failed. It's now up to the Supreme Court to decide what to do. U.S. stock futures rebounded after his comments, suggesting markets might be betting on de-escalation. That's by MarketWatch. Mind you, China said yesterday basically, "F you, we're not going back on what we said." So it's up to you guys to deal with it. If tariff escalation occurs and markets turn sour, it could erode his economic credibility. I don't know who wrote that. I don't have I think that's by MarketWatch again as well too. But he has no economic credibility. There is none. He hasn't done one economically sound thing in 9 months, in 10 months. So where was that credibility in the first place? Oi. And now we'll talk about our other favorite subject for this week, the government shutdown negotiations and healthcare subsidies. This is by the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. is amid a federal government shutdown, and there's speculation about Trump opening talks with Democratic healthcare and subsidy programs. However, Democratic leaders say there are no serious talks have yet been initiated. That's by the Wall Street Journal. Prolonged shutdown paying federal employees furloughed, services curtailed could become a political liability. I would correct that last statement. It said has already become a political liability, right? Understand how this works. First week of the shutdown, not much happens. There's still things that have to happen before pain starts to go. Second week of the shutdown, you turn on the valve a little bit, the pain starts to flow out. Third week of the shutdown, that valve is wide open. We're going into the third week. This is the second week, but since Mike has already decided to call everybody else for 2 weeks, there will be a third week. The next story definitely comes up into the category of did we really need to do this right now, given everything that's happening in the fucking country? Historic Columbus Day proclamation and cultural flashpoint. Trump issued a proclamation reinstating Columbus Day and praising Christopher Columbus as the original American hero, pushing back against indigenous people day movements. Really, really. If that doesn't show you that Trump doesn't understand American history, you're on your own. I don't know what else to tell you. Um, Foreign diplomacy spotlight Japan PM and international relationships. Trump congratulated Sanai Takichi, likely Japan's first female prime minister, signaling diplomatic alignment and messaging abroad. That's by Reuters. His foreign policy messaging in the Middle East and Europe will be under scrutiny as global leaders weigh whether his approach is transactional or transformational. It's always transactional. It's always been transactional. It will ever remain transactional. Um, Back to Israel. This is by Euronews. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu lauded Trump during his Knesset visit, calling him one of Israel's greatest allies. Okay. Uh, Also regarding Israel, if the ceasefire fails, hostages remain unreleased, or promises in the peace plan are unmet, Trump risks being cast as an overpromiser or opportunist. He is already an overpromiser and already an opportunist. I don't hope the ceasefire fails. I would really like to see this ceasefire last forever. Gaza needs its own, Palestinians need their own state. This has to end once and for all. Again, history tells us otherwise. I hope I'm wrong on this one. Conversely, if the deal sticks, these stories could form the cornerstone of a momentum push, foreign policy breakthrough, deal making, branding, and conscience of incumbents. Yeah, I guess sort of, but not really, because Trump carries so much. If this all works out, it's the analogy I keep using, throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping for something to stick. This would be the one piece of pasta that sticks, but there's 8 million other pieces of pasta on the wall. So I don't see that making him all of a sudden a hero all of a sudden. So that's it. Busy week coming up, folks. Lots of stuff going on, as you can see from the news this morning. Um, Interesting to watch. He's already in Israel, so it should be an interesting day to see how he embarrasses himself, because Lord knows he will. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday. Take care.